Hi, this is LRK Tax. Hope everyone is doing well. As we get close to the end of 2021 and we start budgeting for 2022, we start reaching out to our medical professionals to have a discussion with them for their upcoming plans for 2022. We do this for a whole host of reasons, one of which is to determine the amount of salaries and dividends that they anticipate that they need to take out to finance the upcoming lifestyle for 2022. So we've had a few of these discussions already, and a common theme that's come up is they don't know how much they need and they don't know what the right amount is. So in response to that, we've come up with an LRK tax planner for doctors, and really is to basically organize our doctors so that they have clarity in terms of how much money they receive at the corporate level, how much money they receive at the personal level, and what the money is being used for. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I'll do a quick rundown in terms of how this calculator works. So the first thing you'll see are the instructions. It'll provide detailed instructions on how to fill this out. You can click on the link, the click here, where indicated. It'll take you to a specific set of instructions. But the first thing that we do is we go to the profile. We fill out everything that's in yellow cells to the extent it's relevant. I've pre-populated this already. So in our sample case, we have Dr. Very Cool, who's married, is 45, and also married to Mark Cool, who's 45. They both have RSP room in the amount of $20,000. She has a corporation called Very Cool MPC with a December 31st, 2022 year end. And she has 2 children. On top of this, we also have a section for goals. It's very important to have your goals lined up. It doesn't factor too much into the calculations, but having this front and center kind of reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. Some people want to pay off their line of credit. Some people want to put money away for investment that will grow X amount of dollars. It's good to have these goals lined up so that, again, we can refer to it each time you open this calculator. So once you filled out your profile, it's time to move on to step 2, which are details about your corporation. As most of you are existing clients of LRK Tax, a lot of this information could be pulled from the financial statements that we've just provided to you. Again, please only fill out the yellow cells, and if you have financial statements, a lot of this information, if not all, can be just copied and pasted onto this on the assumption that your upcoming year is similar to the 2021 year. For the sake of simplicity, I just put down the cash of $100,000 that's available in the MPC. Again, if you have investments, passive income, feel free to put that out. I've kept it simple for the sake of this video. I've only assumed a steady income of $500,000 with your typical expenses in a corporation. But if it's relevant, please fill out the other stuff as necessary. And so the whole point of this exercise is to kind of come up with a picture for the corporation in terms of the expenses and the income. So once everything's said and done, you'll have a picture of your corporate income, your expenses, and automatically the tax that's associated with the profit. This is so that we know how much we have available to distribute. So once you've done step 2, we can move on to step 3, which is a little bit more involved, a little bit more intimate at the personal level, because it really asks about your personal details. So again, starting at the top, enter the cash you have in your bank account at the start of the year. I've just assumed a very small amount, but please, again, feel free to fill this out according to your circumstances. Once you've done that, you can enter your personal income. This is basically income outside of the corporation, outside of anything related to that. This is personal investments and whatnot. So once you fill that out, you can move on to step 3, which is your personal loans. A lot of our medical professionals, they still have some sort of debt, whether it be a student debt or a mortgage. So I filled this out, $50,000 in student debt, 3% interest rate, and the goal was to repay it in 5 years. It will spit out the monthly payment and the annual commitment. So, it would change if you wanted to repay this in 10 years. Your cash commitment per year will definitely reflect that. I'll keep it at 5 years for now. Again, credit card debt, other loans, feel free to put this in here to the extent it's relevant. If you have a home mortgage, please put this down as well. Principal balance, interest rate, and the remaining term. So it'll calculate the estimated monthly payment and the annual commitment in terms of cash. So once you've filled in your liabilities and your debts, it's time to move on to your annual living expenses. So on a monthly basis, please feel free to fill out your estimate of your personal cash needs for you and your spouse. I've pre-populated this already: 300,000 utilities, 1,000 property tax, 50 for cable, and so forth. To the extent you have other things that are relevant, again, please feel free to fill that out. The last bit deals with personal savings. So if you want to basically have an annual amount that you want to see in your bank account on top of what you spend, feel free to put that in here. In this particular case, we wanted to say that Dr. Cool has a requirement of $2,000 at the personal level that she wants to save on top of what she spends. Again, RSP contributions, if you want annual RSP contributions, $1,000 is probably too low. We'll put that as $20,000. This will show how much overall that she needs to put away for her savings. So at the summary level, what we're gonna do is see how much cash commitment that she has to have in order to meet her goals of paying down her debts under the terms that she specified. So she needs 30 grand to pay off her home mortgage and her line of credit to be on track to pay off the line of credit in 5 years and home mortgage in 20 years. Annual expenditures, this is what it looks like. So when all said and done, including savings, she needs to come up with $107,000. Okay? And the fun part basically begins in step 4, where we know that she needs to come up with $107,000. We need to know how much salary or dividends she needs. So if she only needs enough to basically cover her goals, she can pick one of these options. She can pick, auto calculate the amount of salary. So if she wants to basically pay off the debts, and on the timeline that she wanted, as well as basically finance her living expenses and have the right savings, we know she needs $146,000 worth of salary. Okay, this will basically calculate that she will have $39,000 in tax, corporate tax, personal tax, as well as $107,000 in after-tax funds. And basically this number will tie into the actual number that we've specified as necessary. So again, the net cash inflow and outflow is exactly 0 because the amount of salary we gave her basically lines up with her cash needs and her cash for current spending, paying off debts, and savings. So this is actually very fun. You can play around with this. If you don't want salary and you want dividends, or come up with a different number for dividends. You can come up with a combination of. It's really up to you what you want to do. If you want to give her yourself any more, you can add that on top of it as well. But this is just a scenario to basically give you as a baseline, saying, well, if I have X amount of cash needs, I need to draw at least this much from the company to pay off my cash needs for, again, paying off debts, living, and savings. So in this particular case, let's just go with a salary. Okay, we know we have $146,000 we need to pay Dr. Cool. We can move on to the results. Okay, and the results, it's a great summary of what your picture looks like. You have $146,000 of salary from the corporation. Your personal tax is $40,000. Your total living expenses $107,000. And because the amount of salary that you basically put in is used to pay off your expenses, your bank account is going to be it's going to be the same. The next thing we also have is the corporation level. The salary gets automatically included and updated into the corporate picture, so the corporate tax will reflect this. So yeah, again, we have $500,000 expenses other than salary, your corporate tax, and then you take out this additional salary of $146,000. And then you basically have a picture of how much corporate income you have for the year. And this is the amount of money that you're going to be looking to invest with. So this is a pretty useful tool. You have the amount of cash at the beginning of the year. After 2022 operations, you have $374,000. at the end of the year to invest with. So very, very useful. It will also tell you the installments, estimated date. At the personal level, because we're paying salaries, there are no installments. We have a very, very useful payroll schedule that we provide you, and that takes care of your personal tax. On this side, on the right side, you'll have a nice bar chart to basically tell you at your personal level, well, where your expenses coming from. Surprise, surprise, your personal tax is the biggest amount, so it's good to manage that. Food and groceries, RSP, home mortgage, etc. So depending on your circumstances, your bar chart might look a little bit different. And so we give you a lot of information for cash flow, as well as, pretty much a dashboard in terms of your personal spending, which we find that to be sometimes neglected by our medical professionals, just because, sometimes a small monthly payment to a Netflix subscription might not be relevant to keep track of, but everything adds up, and so we want to make sure that everything is captured in this little dashboard. Finally, we have a little thing here called Stay on Track. Essentially, we break everything down for you on a monthly basis on the assumption that everything is earned and incurred evenly. If you, for example, decide one day that you want to buy, $50,000 worth of additional clothes because you deserve it, well, you just put that on there and see that, oh, wait a minute, I have to come up with an additional $45,000 now. And you may want to go back to step 1, 2, and 3 and kind of fill out, whether or not part of your goals is to look as fashionable as possible, and kind of redo the numbers and redo the personal budget. So things might fluctuate a little bit here and there. If it's not too much, you can just kind of keep track and not have to redo your budget. But if it is significant, it may be worthwhile to consider. So this is our tool for medical professionals. I hope this is useful, and that if there's any feedback for improvements, we definitely love to hear it. Again, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to any one of your contacts at LRK Tax. And happy holidays. Take care, everyone. Bye.